And the fourth and fifth part is for shock and fork, which is basically similar view. In the what is section, you have explanations of all the settings. You have all those input fields where you can select and deselect, as well as dial in the settings. You have the additional settings part where you can choose if you want to dial in the settings from counting from the middle, which is relevant for RockShox models, as well as turns. If you want to use turns instead of clicks, which is mostly for Cane Creek models. So, and fork and shock both have an easy setup guide where you can find the SAG method. It's explained what SAG is there, how to apply the SAG method. So we go through those screens. SAG method is basically helps you to find the right air pressure and coil force for your mountain bike settings, for fork and for shock. And here we can see we have the right SAG. We dial in what air pressure we used. Then we have a hint for how to initially set up the compression. We can use, for example, the middle ground, 5 clicks, halfway between open and closed. And then we have the rebound, where you can see here tutorial, also a practice test, how to set up the rebound on your fork. Let's say we have 3 rebound clicks, and then we go back and we apply those settings, and we have now applied all the settings on the fork setup. So now we are done with step 4. Let's go to step 5, where we set up our shock. It's basically the same like setting up the fork. We dial in the settings if we have them already, or we use the easy setup guide if we need some support and use the SAG method. And then we just input some settings now for demonstration. Then we go to step 6, which is basically a balance test. If at the rear or at the front your bike is in balance. So there is also a practice test again, where what you can do in the parking lot to find out if your suspension is balanced. And yes, that's basically the create setup wizard. We click on finish and we get redirected to the managed setup view, where we manage all the setups, which is basically the main view. And here we are at the managed setup view.